Yo, what's going on, guys? It is time for another reaction video, and this one's coming from the YouTube channel Lost LeBlanc. Actually, one of the YouTubers I watch quite often and really appreciate his content. If you're not familiar with him and you like this video, I do encourage you to go check out his channel and subscribe to it if you like this video. This one is how to travel Peru. Now, this one, I think it was from about 5 years ago, so some of this may not hold as true to current day. So if you're familiar with Peru, if you've traveled there recently, or if you live there and some of this information has changed since then, please let me know in the comments. With that being said, let's get straight into it.
What's up, guys? My name is Christian LeBlanc, and for the past 2.5 years I've been pretty much living from a suitcase on the road, and one of my #1 travel destinations in all of my travels has to be this country right here. Incredible mountainscapes, amazing world-class food, and alpacas. What more could you ask for? If you want to see my entire 1.5 hour guide, that will also be linked down below. That'll cover more on the food side of things, which, by the way, Peru has the world's best food, so you won't want to miss that. Now, to start this video off, let's talk about where you're going to be landing, and that is the city of Lima. If you're on a tight timeline, I probably won't recommend that you spend too much time here in Lima, but if you do decide to come here, then there are a couple places of interest. You'll want to stay in Miraflores. This is where most of the nicer hotels and Airbnbs are. And if you're looking to experience one of the more vibrant sides of Lima, then you'll definitely want to check out Monumental Callao. This is a very, very cool place that basically used to be a little bit dangerous, a little bit run down, but recently they've introduced some security measures and they've made it a bit of a happening place to visit. You'll be one of the first people to check this out because it's kind of an up and coming place.
What's behind me?
The government palace.
Another great day trip outside of Miraflores is the Parliament Palace. It's a very beautiful square. It's also known as Plaza des Armas. There's street vendors everywhere selling amazing food. I was shocked to find that it was some of my favorite food in the entire world.
That is unbelievable.
I spent about 5 days in Lima, but that's all I'm going to talk about for right now. If you want to learn more about it, it's in the full guide.
Hola, señor. Do you know where to go for the fiesta, señor?
Our next destination is a place by the name of Ica, and that is in the southwest of the country. From Lima, we're gonna either take a bus, rent a car, or hire a driver, and I probably would eliminate the idea of renting a car because the traffic can be a little loco. That's Spanish for crazy.
I've heard that from other ones as well, that it's better to not drive yourself. It's better to get a driver or find a different means of transportation. So if that still holds true, tell me in the comments.
Regardless of how you do it, it's going to take you around 3.5 to 4 hours to get to Ica, and from Ica, you're going to go to the very nearby sand dunes known as Huacachina. This was one of my #1 picks of all of Peru, one of the coolest things I've ever done. We actually paid about $35–40 US, and we rented this sand buggy and went through the dunes for about an hour and a half. It was incredible. We actually arranged it to be done at sunset, so we got one of the most amazing sunsets I've ever seen. We got to go sandboarding. That was actually included with the dune buggy, and it's just such an amazing feeling to be surrounded by these vast hills. This is a must.
That looks like a lot of fun, but I can only imagine like how much sand you end up bringing back with you from being in it. I would be terrified to take my my nicer cameras out there, that the lenses would just get loaded with sand. I would probably have to stick to like action cameras or something, but nonetheless it looks fun.
Now, this is a lot to pack into one day, so I probably recommend you do it the next day, and it's something I actually didn't get around to doing, but there's something known as the Nazca lines, and basically what they are is massive hieroglyphics. We personally did not have time to see the Nazca lines, but I guess that's another reason to return to Peru. Now we're gonna head back to the city of Lima. You should get back in the night so that you can get on the first plane heading out in the morning to the city of Cusco. That's going to be about a 1-hour plane ride away, and flights can be relatively affordable. They can also be expensive. It helps to book these things in advance. Assuming you have now landed in Cusco and not crashed into the mountainsides, because that had to have been one of the craziest landings I've ever done.
Completely unrelated, but I'm just noticing in the background, you can really tell that this video is a little bit older just because of the drone that's sitting back there. I remember when that was the go-to drone, and my how things have changed. Actually, like, I got mine sitting right here, one of them. Look much smaller they are nowadays. So this is my newest one, but Yeah. Not that that matters, but I just saw it sitting there in the background. I was like, man, things have changed quickly with the drones.
Done, then you're going to be noticing something known as altitude sickness. Every breath you take, you get less oxygen, and you do start to notice it pretty much the moment you get off the plane. Especially for certain people, it will hit them very hard. What I did is I actually took a little medication right before boarding my flight in Lima, and I think it made the world of a difference because I did not get overly sick from altitude sickness at any point throughout this trip. Because this channel is all about helping you, I've actually made it so this itinerary will hopefully help you alleviate that altitude sickness. So we're gonna basically get in a taxi from Cusco and go to our next destination, which is further down the hills. It's a lower altitude. Theoretically, this itinerary will help you deal with this altitude sickness. So we're gonna now head to Urubamba. It's about an hour and a half taxi away, and what I highly recommend is that you do maras. Maras is one of the coolest things you'll see in the entire country. It's a bunch of salt mines that are actually still in use today, and they're built into the side of a mountain. It's extremely beautiful, very dramatic, definitely a worthwhile visit if you're going to Urubamba. And there's actually two very spectacular hotels in Urubamba. One of them had a couple baby llamas, the other one had an incredible pool. So if you're in that upward budget range where you can spend a bit of money on a hotel, these are two of the best hotels in the country. Whether you decided to stay in Cusco or go to Urubamba, your next destination is all the same. We're going to be going to the iconic Machu Picchu. This is the place that most people think of when they think of Peru. It's the incredible palace that has been built on a very dramatic mountain. There's llamas running around freely, all living happily, and honestly, it's one of the coolest things you'll ever see in your entire life. I know I'm saying a lot of like most extreme, most beautiful this, but that is what Peru is. It's a spectacular destination with world-class things to offer. So to get to Machu Picchu, you've got a couple options depending on where you are.
I did a reaction just recently to a video that's all about Machu Picchu, so you might want to check that one out as well. They go really in depth from everything you need to know to get going, so that was a really cool video to check out. And even the little town that you land in to go there the day prior and catching the bus at the right time and all of that stuff. So that would be a cool one to go check out.
World-class things to offer. So to get to Machu Picchu, you've got a couple options depending on where you are. You can either take the bus, which is fine and all, but if you have the budget or you're looking to experience something new, this is a worthwhile investment. I actually used the Peru Rail and I loved it. It made the experience that much more incredible. There's entertainment, amazing food to be had, and there's different levels of the train, so you can do everything from the more economy to the more luxury. Just depends on your budget, but this is definitely one of the best ways to see the country. Whether you take the train or the bus, you don't arrive directly in Machu Picchu. You arrive at the city below it on the footsteps of the mountain, and that is known as Aguas Caliente. Definitely a very spectacular place with like Jurassic Park-esque looking landscapes. There's hotels, there's restaurants, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend spending the night. Basically, this is just the entry point for Machu Picchu, and from there, you'll take a bus up the hill. I think the videos here speak for themselves. Machu Picchu, insane. If you want to see more about it, I also have the whole Peru series all vlogged down below. You can check out the Peru playlist.
Hi there, sir. What are your thoughts on the rising tourism here in Peru?
And if you're one of those people that wants to live life to the fullest, well, there's a higher peak than Machu Picchu. It's known as Huayana Picchu, and they only let like 200 people up a day. With that being said, it also books out like 2 months in advance. So if you're like, I need to be king of the hill, I need to see the highest point, then make sure you're organized with this trip because you will not get this ticket by booking last minute. I did not do Huayana Picchu. I was more than okay with it. I was kind of tired, a little bit altitude affected, so I was not that eager to climb it. It's also quite expensive. It is now time to go to Cusco. Cusco is actually the ancient capital of the Incan Empire, and it shows. It's so beautiful. Cobblestone roads, beautiful stone churches and cathedrals. Very, very, very picturesque, and there's lots of great food, great nightlife. A lot of travelers are coming through here, so it's a great place to meet people. I would argue this is the most happening place for travelers in Peru.
My name is Jacinto, and today I play the tribal music of the people.
Come and move that in my direction.
The food and the ambiance is just one of the things it has to offer. It also has a thing by the name of Sexy Woman, which sounds like sexy woman, but on Los LeBlanc, we always try to keep it PG, at least PG-13. Sexy Woman is a Incan palace that was built back in the somethings, And basically the impressive thing is that using their very ancient style technology, they were able to perfectly move these massive stones and place them together in what seems like perfect symmetry. Don't play an Incan in Tetris.
It always amazes me how they were able to build some of this stuff, like the pyramids and Machu Picchu and all these things in primitive times without the tractors and the things that we have these days. I just don't understand how they accomplished it. It's insane.
Stones and place them together in what seems like perfect symmetry. Don't play an Incan in Tetris. Going back into the center of Cusco, you've got the incredible square known as Plaza de Armas, just like you saw in Lima. And there you've got a couple churches right next to each other. It's beautiful, definitely a great place to get some photos. And if you go to Peru and you don't buy Peru merchandise, did you ever really go to Peru? You need to get yourself a few of those llama fleeces. Just deck yourself out like this.
So good. I went so overboard. She doesn't want to be seen with me.
No, it's okay.
That can all be found at San Pedro Market. Definitely a nice little day trip. And I definitely recommend you go see the old side of Cusco, and that is known as San Blas. This is where you'll see lots of the locals, and it looks like they're dressed up for money. If you've traveled a lot, you'll see that people typically dress up just to have you pay to take a photo with them. But this is actually how they dress. They wear their very cool toques. They wear their colorful knitted clothing. It gives you a real feel of the local culture in Cusco. Another full day trip that I actually didn't have time for that's sort of close to Cusco is Rainbow Mountain. It looks like this. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see it, but man, it looks absolutely beautiful. Another reason to come back to Peru. All right, it is now to head up even further into the mountains. As if you thought that wasn't possible, we're gonna deal with even more of this altitude feeling. There's many remedies you can actually take to help you with your altitude sickness throughout this trip. I luckily was doing these and never got sick. So if you wanna learn more about that, it's in the full guide, link down below. And now we're gonna be getting onto either a bus or onto my favorite option, being the Peru rail system. And that will take you right to the city of Puno. Puno is actually 3,827 meters high. So this is one of the highest points of the entire country. Because you'll spend the entire day traveling, you'll arrive in the evening, check into your hotel, and the next morning we're gonna be doing some island hopping in Peru, which honestly really shocked me. On top of this mountain is one of the largest lakes in all of South America, and this is Lake Titicaca. It's shared with Bolivia, and they took us to these remote little islands. These islands are some of the most culturally rich places in all of Peru. Our guide was giving us a bit of insight as to how these people live their lives. It'll make you question what you consider to be normal. Again, I vlogged it all. It was an incredible experience. Highly recommend you check it out. We even saw these sets of islands here, which are actually completely man-made using organic materials. Very, very cool. Cannot miss this if you go to Puno. Another city that
Just recently, Kara and Nate, which are some other YouTubers, they spent a day or a couple of days on these islands right here, and they did a video. They may have even done more than one video, I can't remember, of visiting that. So if you want to see more in depth of this particular area, go look up Kara and Nate, type in Peru, and they have a whole set of videos from their time in Peru.
using organic materials. Very, very cool. Cannot miss this if you go to Puno. Another city that I unfortunately did not have time to see is Arequipa, and this is definitely a foodie's destination. It's a beautiful city built of stone, located next to a volcano, surrounded by lush green fields. From what I've heard, it's definitely a worthwhile place to go visit. That is the end of our trip here, guys. I hope you found it helpful, and if you're coming to Peru, you'll definitely want to check the full 1.5 hour video guide linked down below. It's just pure information, everything that you need to know before arriving, how to save money, how to stay safe, the best restaurants, which by the way, that's one of the best sides of all of Peru is their food. So make sure you know the best restaurants in all the cities we visited here, as well as some more hidden locations. So much insight was provided by Kati. A huge thank you to her for her local insight. And if you want a free preview of that guide, make sure to click down here for the 5 hot tips to Peru. It'll give you a lot more insight than even this video did. And if you want to hit that subscribe button, it's right up there. I would invite you to become part of the channel. Get notified when new videos are posted, just like this one.
Yep, like he said, go check out his channel, Los Blanc, and subscribe. And subscribe to my channel too if you like this video. If you want to see more from me, please, like I said, subscribe, click the bell if you want to get notified every time I upload a new video, and comment below and let me know if you've ever had the opportunity to visit Peru, and if this information that he shared is still fairly accurate. Let me know where in the world you're watching from too. And in the video description, there is a mailing address. So I've had a few people recently ask about sending me mail and sending me things. So if you are interested in doing that, The address is listed there in the video description. And I will see you guys in the next video. Later.